So here we are with game 2 of round 1, once more taken from the Worcester Manor League Cube Draft Tournament, taken on the 14th of June 2014. Myself once more on my left there now running for all it's worth, and Derrick once more again there on the right, playing the Corp, also from Worcester. Had a very successful game 1. There was much flood, as much flood as you would find typically in Tewkesbury, a great deal of it in fact. So we're hoping here to have a little bit more success. I've got an early doors maker's eye there in hand, but unfortunately my opponent also has an early doors wraparound, which is gonna hurt. But you know, I'm sure it'll be absolutely fine. It's not like I've just drafted AI breakers now, is it? So here we go then. We're off, and I don't think either of us taking a mulligan there. We're both ready to go for it, so I'm just waiting on the Corp to take his mandatory draw and start us off. There's that wraparound, which I'm presumably he's going to be placing there on HQ or R&D, and which I'm going to have a very hard time getting through, because I think I do have a breach, as I recall. I did draft a breach, but I'm not sure I'm going to have much joy. So he is in fact going to res the whatchamacallit one that gives you counters every time you install a card, which is always nice, and I'll find the name of it while I'm searching frantically for it. One of the creation and control cards, as I recall. There we are, Alex, T4LB07. That one. Yes, that's the one. So he installs a piece of ice over HQ, which is the wraparound, and a piece of ice over R&D there as well, and then passes the turn. Not a bad little start there, so he's already got 2 counters on his Alex. I'm going to, turn 1, play a Nerve Agent. Click 1, play a Nerve Agent, which is going to be a fat lot of good here, because click 2, I'm going to run HQ. And see a wraparound. Yeah, that's not great. So that's the Nerve Agent isn't going to do a great deal of good for the rest of this game, I suspect. But it's always nice to have there as an additional threat, at the very least. And that was the idea here. It was to force him to ice up quite heavily on HQ. I'm going to run R&D and see if I can see anything exciting. It is a Data Hound, another one of those cards that you don't see a great deal of in Constructed, but that actually does relatively good work in Draft. Again, it's a card that did pose problems. Just for those of you unfamiliar, it's a 1-res 2-strength sentry. Trace 2, if successful. Look at the top number of cards on the runner stack equal to the amount by which the trace has exceeded my strength, and then you trash one of those cards and arrange in order. So he's going to be going through and trashing my cards here. It doesn't end the run, but it does mean I'm having to obviously have a very good look at this card, because again, it's one of those ones you do not see a great deal of. But I have to say, actually, it's an impressive card, and it does quite good work, and made me reconsider it, certainly, which you know, Draft does a great deal of. I find you as you're playing in a Draft game, you do reconsider a lot of these cards and realise that some of them actually do halfway sensible things. So here, for instance, he sees an Armitage and a Keyhole, and I think he mistakenly trashes the Armitage, which is a bit of an error there, because Keyhole is absolutely brutal. I do access and see a piece of ice, but he does let me have my Keyhole there, which is a surprise. I would have trashed the Keyhole unquestionably. I think that's a critical mistake. Though denying me of economy is by no means a bad thing. But Keyhole could really hurt here, especially because he doesn't have a piece of Enderman Ice on R&D at the moment. I don't care if he's trashing cards if I'm accessing 3 at a time. So he'll draw. Looks like he's drawing up for something, probably some more ice, set up a remote server. And obviously everything he installs is going to be getting extra value out of it with the Alex. I'm probably going to plan in on going on trashing that when it's around about 3 or 4. There's no immediate rush, going to take 2 credits and pass the turn. I'm going to draw that Keyhole and say thank you very much. So it's a 4 credit 2 mem cost, and as soon as I'm in a position, I'm probably going to play it, so I'm going to take a credit. And I'm just contemplating here, just playing the Keyhole straight off the bat. I don't have much in the way of economy in this deck, but I mean, again, a Keyhole in and of itself will force a significant response here from Derrick. I'm actually going to make his eye first, which is a surprise. So I'm going to let the trace go off. He's not going to bump it. He's just going to leave it at 2. I'm not going to bother beating it, and he's going to choose to trash a card. He's going to get rid of my Crypsis. And I'm going to access 3. 1, 2, 3. Lots of ice, seeing nothing else. So that's fine. 4 accesses. I'm figuring I'm going to get there eventually. I'm going to take 2. I'm going to get ready to use my Keyhole. First click next turn. I'm expecting him here to ice it. It certainly would be the sensible thing to do given the situation he finds himself in. He knows that keyhole's coming, so I'm not sure if he maybe didn't see it and didn't recognise the danger, but he's drafted some fantastic cards. I tell you, I wish I'd seen some celebrity gifts, hives and hedge funds, but it's looking more like a constructed deck and a wraparound. He was on the other pod. I call hijinks. I think pod 1 had the better stuff. That's all I'm going to say. Just going to throw it out there. Pod 1 had the better stuff. But yeah, he's got some great cards there, regardless, and I think he had a mid-seasons in hand as well there. Yeah, I think he does at the back. So, not bad at all. He's got some great cards to play around with there. And I think he's looking to hedge fund, which is probably an error. I think he should hear ISEP R&D. He knows what's coming, but that hive is going to be a problem, I think, to deal with at this stage. He's going to install that net police there into another remote server, and obviously gaining another credit there. A power counter, sorry, with Alex. So I will first click, gleefully install keyhole, second click I'll be using it, and I'll let his trace go off again. I've got no money, so if he wants to, he can access a few more cards and rearrange them. He still only gets the trash one, but he can have a look through my deck. Certainly the benefit of knowing what's coming is going to be strong, but I'm just, sorry, I explained what keyhole did, and then I think he forgot that he gets the trigger data hound. So he sees the crash space again, and sees a data sucker, what it looks like, and he's going to get rid of the, oh no, sorry, cyber feeder. So I'm going to have a look at 3. And not seeing a huge amount there. I'm going to trash a piece of ice, which is a Shinobi. He's drafted some nice ice there, let's be honest, and he has to now shuffle. So it's taken him up to 7 accesses now without seeing an agenda. 7 individual cards I've seen, and I haven't seen a single agenda yet. Hopefully that won't continue. So I'm going to go again. Again, he's not going to bump the trace, so he's going to have a look at 2 cards and trash 1. He's keeping that crash space on top for me, which is, you know, fine, not the end of the world. I'm going to see 3 again. And there's an agenda, huzzah! So, having now seen a, a grand total of 10 cards, I finally see the agenda, which is nice. Not a priority wreck, which would have been nicer, I'm not going to lie. I don't know how many he's running in the deck, but presumably so. I'm going to go in and keyhole again. He's going to trash another one of my cards. We are just trashing each other's stuff with reckless abandon. So he's once again presented with the crash space and looks like the retrieval run, and he's going to trash the retrieval run. I will then have a look at 3 of his cards, and I'll trash one of those. It's like a reverse keyhole. It's quite splendid. I think he wasn't sure whether he shuffled or not, and I actually can't recall myself either, so I'll let him shuffle. So here we go, hoping for a nice juicy 3-pointer. Another 3 cards. Nothing. No luck. But I will ditch his Victor 2.0. Man, he's got some good ice. Good heavens, he has some incredibly good ice, as well as a celebrity gift and a hedge fund. Oh, I feel hard done by my runner side here. Didn't see any of those cards. So path to turnover, having had 3 successful keyhole attempts, and he has got to solidify R&D here, or this is going to be over in short order. Keyhole is just a beast. And I was very happy to draft a keyhole, I'm not going to lie. That was one I was passed as well, so very good. He's got, sorry, is that 2 hedge funds? I'm pretty sure that was 2 hedge funds, wasn't it? Oh, maybe no, it's just the one. Oh, sorry, he installed, didn't he? Just the 1 hedge fund, okay, panic over. Not that I'm better, you understand. Not in the slightest. So he will ice up R&D. It looks like I think that was the hive there going down on R&D, which would make sense. Particularly while it's at its full efficiency of, is it 5 subroutines? A lot anyway, so it's got no breakers yet. And he's just trashed one of my Crypsies, and also the means to actually go and get it, which was the retrieval run. Which is typical, really. But he's getting a lot of joy out of that Alex. I'm expecting him to trigger that soon, so I'm probably thinking about going in and trashing it. I can't let him have that much money, but he's doing very well economy-wise. Having seen a hedge fund and celebrity gift, and some cheap early rice as well. So he's doing very well. So first click I'm going to keyhole, just mainly because I want to make him res that eye. So it is a hive, which will cost him 5 to res. And that's fine. I'm going to take 2 credits and then run and trash Alex and stick him in the bin. Can't let him have that kind of money. And pass the turn over. So I'm still skint. I still have no breakers, but I needed to check and see what was what the R&D situation was. But still, I'm on 13 accessed cards here, and I've only seen one agenda. And that is the nature of draft, unfortunately. Agenda density can be very low, or in my case, unfortunately, it's a little bit too high. Looks like he's installing a pad campaign there into the remote. Looks like he's got a Sentinel defense program in hand, so it's a 4-2. But he hasn't seen much additional ice there. So I think he's just looking and waiting here to try and set up a remote. Probably would have wanted to have saved that hive for a remote, I would suspect, but there was just no conceivable way that he could. He had to ice up R&D there. And he's still got to be concerned that I have that nerve agent out on the board as well, though I've got no means of getting through that wraparound yet. And, you know, spoiler alert, I don't really get a means because I don't particularly have any barrier breakers. You know, I do have issues. So here we go, I'll draw that crash base at long last. I'm going to draw again, and I'm not sure what I saw there. Looks like an emergency shutdown. I'm going to have a look at the that pad campaign. And obviously you have no money to be able to trash it, but I'm not going to give him any easy scores just in case. And again, without the emergency shutdown would be absolutely phenomenal if I can actually get into HQ here, which I certainly can't. But I'm going to go and take that geothermal fracking while I can, just before he ices up archives. I had nothing else to do other than click for credits really, which I probably could have done, but again, I wasn't in a huge rush there. I just figured I might as well take 2 points while I can, just in case he continues to surprise me with awesome cards like Jackson Howard and so forth, which is always a distinct possibility. I thought I was lucky getting a corporate shuffle, to be brutally honest. If I'd used it last game, it may have been a different story, who knows. Good old corporate shuffle. So thinking very methodically here, he knows he's got a couple of agendas in hand by the looks of it, and he's got a real scoring window here. I've got no credits, and he's trashed decent amount of my my cards already. Good cards as well, and there they all are in fact. He's going to install and take 2 credits past the turn. I'm going to draw. I'm going to draw again. And here I need to be clicking for credits really. I see an infiltration and an Escher. So another great HQ attack card, which I can't do anything with because of that wraparound. I'm going to have a look. And I can't quite make out. A dedicated response team, that is. So tag punishment. So I've got to be careful there. And I really am stuck here. Again, I need to be clicking for credits because otherwise I've got no hope. Which is what I'm going to do, and I've got to discard some cards here. I think at this stage, I'm kind of expecting him to score out, but the more he scores out, the weaker hive becomes, and the stronger keyhole becomes again as well at the end of the game. But I do worry here that I'm presenting him with too strong a scoring window. I discard a scrubber there, which I think is a misplay on my part. Scrubber here goes in and trashes that pad campaign for 1 credit. It's a very good card, and you know, I was happy to draft it. I'm not quite sure why I didn't keep that in hand and play that there. And I think that was a misplay on my part, particularly because he's setting up all of his assets, you know, without any ice, without any protection whatsoever. So the scrubber actually would do incredibly good work. So it would be two recurring credits to trash stuff. So yeah, pad campaign would only cost me 2 to trash, and that's worthwhile. Anyway, he's going to ice up and set up a new remote here. And install, and presumably advance, yes indeed, and pass turn over to me. So that's one of his 4-2s, and he's looking here now to take advantage of my extreme poverty, all the while getting some nice drip economy himself. I'm going to draw, see a Darwin, at least it's a breaker, and it's a breaker I can use. The problem is it costs 3. I'm going to run, make him res. A flare! Boom! I'm not too worried about the flare. I'll take 2 meat damage, that's fine. I've got no hardware for him to trash. So again, that's not really a big deal for me there. I'm happy for him to pay 9 credits to res the flare. Which he does. It's trace 6, which I obviously can't beat. And so he will trash a piece of hardware, do 2 meat damage, and then the run. Which is fine, it just means that... but he does unfortunately discard my emergency shutdown in Crescentus, so there goes all my means of shutting down that hive, which is unfortunate. I still have no way of getting through that wraparound. All my breakers are AI breakers apart from that one breach. I'm going to take 2 credits and pass the turn, with a view to hopefully starting to get a Darwin up and running. But again, the Darwin isn't going to be able to get through onto HQ, which is a real shame. I would love to do some swappity-doos here. He's got 2 credits, having got 1 back there from the pad campaign. So he may be able to score if it's not a 4-2, but I'm pretty sure that it is, so he's not in a position to score here. And I just wanted to slow him down a little bit, because the longer the Darwin's on the board, the stronger it becomes, and that is the hope here. Darwin can do some good work. He's going to advance twice and take a credit, and pass the turn. So, you know, there's no question that's an agenda. It's just a question of what agenda it is. I drop into an Atman, which isn't too bad. Problem is that all his ice is relatively high strength here. It's a good mix of strength. Anyway, Wraparound obviously going in at a whopping 7 strength with that man down on the board. Flare is 6 strength, and Hive is 3, I believe. I'm going off memory here. Yes, 3 strength. So no, the Wraparound isn't even. Well, I need a Data Sucker really. The Atman, sorry, to do any work here. But easy access at HQ is incredibly tempting. It's a shame I've lost that emergency shutdown. But if I could go in and Atman at HQ, I could Escher. I could do some significant damage to his board state if I can get into HQ. I've got the Nerve Agent to be able to capitalise on it, so I'll put down that Darwin. I think that's once again the wrong play there. I probably should save up some pennies and just stick the Atman in at 7 and say, screw it, I'm going to be all over your HQ, and go in with Nerve Agent and just capitalise on what he has in hand. See all his hand every turn until he ices it up, and if he does go in and ice it up, could have had an emergency shutdown, which obviously lost. He will score a 3-pointer, which is the give a tag jiggery pokery one. Another unusual one to see. I'm certainly surprised he drafted it. It's not a card I would necessarily want to draft to replace it, but you know, he's playing heavily on tags. It's click, trace 2, if successful, give the runner 1 tag. And I haven't seen any real tag punishment yet, but he's got a lot of trace ice and trace stuff. Would have been sweet here to get some link, but unfortunately I don't have any on the board. He's going to install a separate remote. I'm going to pay 1 for my Darwin and give it a virus counter. And I really am struggling here. So, I mean, the good news is that Hive only has 2 subroutines left. The bad news is that I have no means of breaking it. And certainly the Darwin isn't really going to help there as a 2 subroutine breaker. I'm going to draw. See an SMC there, but I kind of have all my tricks out, and I've got the Gatman in hand, so there's no reason really to use that SMC particularly. I'm going to take 2 credits. I need to make sure I'm left with 1 every turn at the very least, so I can buff the Darwin. I'm going to discard the Data Leak Reversal, which again, probably an error, I have to say, because if he does use his trace ability, I'd probably quite happily take it, just purely and simply because I can then mill 3 cards until he trashes it. Mill 4 cards and, you know, well, install. I'd have to run archives, install it, mill 2, and then he'd have to trash it. But he would have to trash it. So that's not a bad thing in any stretch of the imagination. So probably should have left that there. Just choosing the wrong card to discard here. It's so much easier looking back at the game, looking at the whole board state, not being under the pressure of a tournament scenario or being on the back of a absolute whitewash as loss as Corp. It's much easier to go and see, yep, that was the wrong play, shouldn't have done that, should have played it another way. When it comes to actually sitting down at the table, suddenly you just fly by the seat of your pants, as those lovely chaps across the pond would say. So it looks like he's setting up another remote, was it there? And then he's going to discard after taking a couple of credits. He's in no rush, and who would blame him? I'm going to pay 1 for my Darwin. And again, it's going to be a while here before it can do any work whatsoever. I don't particularly care about the data hound at this stage. I just want to get through and start keyholing him to death. In a way, I want him to score a 2-pointer here, just so I can go in and keyhole repetitively. I'm going to take 2 credits, first 2 clicks, and I'm going to take another 2 credits and pass the turn. I need to get here into the position where I can start to put some real pressure on him. He's read another pad campaign, mandatory draw. Looks like it's just got a TMI there, maybe. A lot of trace heavy stuff he's drafted here. A lot of trace heavy stuff. Oh, how he wishes he was making news right now. Oh, how I'm glad he's not. So he's going to double ice up that remote, looking to, again, I would imagine, get ready to install and start scoring out. I think he does have another agenda in hand, maybe. He's certainly got plenty of ice. I don't know how much ice he's drafted, but he's got a lot of it in hand, and I've seen a lot of it via keyhole. I've even managed to trash a couple of pieces, so he's going to take some money and pass the 10. I'm going to pay 1 for my Darwin count, taking it up to 3. At the very least now it can break through the hive, but it will cost me 4 to get through, which is a lot. But I do see 3 cards for 4 credits, and that's not inconsiderable. I can keyhole here, then just take 3 credits and do exactly the same next turn, and 1 keyhole a turn. That is not a bad thing by any stretch. And this is exactly what I'm considering here at this stage. I don't have any other avenue of attack. There's no way I can get through into HQ at this point. So I'm going to do exactly what I just outlined. I'm going to pay 4 to get through the hive. I'm then going to let the trace go off on the data hound because I don't care. I'm quite comfortable here just to click the 3 credits. He's going to have a look at 2 of my cards. He's going to trash 1 of them. And he's going to take off a data sucker, which again would have been nice, really. I have to say, would have mean I could have got through the wraparound. But I will see another 3 cards. Looks like I haven't seen an agenda, otherwise that would be an instant dismissal. I'll take off another celebrity gift. He drafted 2 of them. 2 celebrity gifts in a hedge fund. My word. Heavens above and earth below. And I think here I'm probably just going to take 3. And that is exactly what's going to happen. So that's fine. Again, I'm not unhappy to trash a celebrity gift, but I certainly would have been happier to... I don't think he shuffled there either. I don't believe he shuffled his deck. I think he... I'd have to go back and have a look, which I'm not going to do right now because I'm 23 minutes into the recording. But either way, it's fine, whatever. So anyway, so keyholes so far. So I will do accesses. So we're up to 16 unique card accesses, and I have seen 1 agenda. 16! He is looking to score out here at this stage, and who would blame him? Obviously, as soon as he does, he really needs to score a 3-pointer out here. If he scores out a 2-pointer, which he does have in hand there by the looks of it, he has the problem of completely negating the value of hive. The hive would have no subroutines left, which would leave me in a position just to go through and keyhole at a whim. He's going to install. Doesn't look like the agenda. Maybe he's worried about an inside job or something of that ilk, of which I have none. I don't think he's quite sure here what he's going to do. He's in a strong position here, so certainly scoring out seems to be the sensible play. I've got no means of breaking through the flare. If my Darwin was on 4 counters, he might be more tempted to play it cautiously. It would only cost me 2 to get through. So I think he's just considering here what he's going to do. We're just discussing what he did. I'm going to pay 1 for... I think he just took money, actually. I'm going to pay 1 for my Darwin counter, which I probably didn't need to do, but it gives me the option of being able to go through that flare next turn, which isn't a bad thing. I'm going to take 2 credits, and then I'm probably going to keyhole and pay all 4 to go through. which isn't great, but it's not terrible. Oh, he's going to discard my breach. Boo! But again, I had the means to probably go in and get it because I had the SMC in hand, which, you know, isn't the worst thing. And I still haven't seen any agendas there. I'll discard a corporate shuffle. Oh, crumbs, I can't quite make it out from here. Not sure what that is. But I'm seeing a heck of a lot of cards here and not a lot of agendas. He hasn't got that many cards left in R&D, to be truthful. But there we go, such is life. And so now I have to take a credit and pass the turn. And again, that's really just so that I've got the threat of being able to go in and get that of whatever is in the remote. But it's just a Beal, so he's going to triple advance and score, taking him to 5 points, 1 point off victory. But it does mean now the Hive has absolutely 0 subroutines, so I can get through that for free now, which is nice. So I'm going to pay 1 for a Darwin counter. Again, if nothing else, this is actually looking like I may be able to get into HQ after all. I'm going to keyhole first click. He's going to go through and do data hound. Again, I've got no intention of breaking those traces at any point particularly. I don't care what he's trashing now at this stage. I have everything I need to go in and hopefully see the game. But we will see. So I've got 3 cards to look at again. I will trash a next bronze and we'll go again. And it's just not quite going according to plan. So I'm going to go again. Here we go. See another 3.
Well, you better have a blooming load of agendas in hand. That's all I'm going to say.
I'm seeing a lot of unique cards here. He must either have them all in hand or none at all. And he's going to shuffle again. And I'm going to keyhole again. Again, we keep forgetting to do the data hound. At this stage, it doesn't really matter. We're just going in looking for the agendas. There are none, so I'll discard another piece of ice. And I say, stop! I'm shuffling now. That's my bitterness coming out there. I do apologise, ladies and gentlemen, for a rather poor showing of faith. And I'm going to keyhole for a 3rd time. He's going to trash. I don't care what he's trashing, I just want to see the agendas. Oh, there's none there again. So I have no idea how many unique cards I've accessed here. He's only got 2 cards left in the deck. He doesn't seem to have that many agendas in hand. I just had a look at his hand and I didn't see any. There's not much point me cutting the cards. There's only about 4 left. And I know there must be agendas in there, surely. He hasn't seen that many. He just drew up one. Just drew up a government contracts. Ah, okay, it's fine. I'm not bitter. I'm not bitter at all. Oh, my luck in this game though has been truly dismal, and there's not a great deal I can do about that. He probably should have trashed the Hive there, but he's going to install over R&D. And he does looks like he's got a Vitruvius in hand as well there. So he does have a couple of agenda points. He looks like he's going to put that Vitruvius in there for the win. There's not much I can do about that. He's going to install and pass the turn. And here I think the correct play probably would be to... he's got a curtain wall there. He's got some juicy ice. Really does have some juicy ice. And I think he's just contemplating here what to do. He's going to take some money and I think he's going to pass the turn. So I think the correct play here would for me to take some money and run on that remote and make him res whatever's there in front of it. In all likelihood, I still probably wouldn't get through, but you don't know unless you try. But I'm going to keyhole, and I've got no idea what he's resing there. There's a horrific amount of glare on that card. But I think it just ends the run. Does it end the run? I'm not sure. Oh, it's annoying. I can't see what it is. I'm certainly giving it a great deal of thought, whatever it may be. I don't think I can get through. I think that's an end the run, whatever it is. I don't know. But with a Darwin at 5, I do have the option of going in and trying to test that remote with some money, but I would need at least 2 credits. And I'm just going to take 3, which is a massive error of judgment there. I should have taken 2, and I should have gone in and checked that remote. But c'est la vie. He'll score the Vitruvius, and he'll take the win. So there was a government contract there in R&D that he pulled up on that last turn. Did have a Scorched in hand as well, by the looks of it. And I'm not sure if there's anything left in R&D or not. I think he's probably about to show me and about to swear and curse if there is. So it was just that one. But still, you know, that was hard work. That game was challenging. I think I saw a grand total of about 30 odd cards or something absolutely obscene there on R&D with only seeing 2 points worth of agendas. And them's the break sometimes, and again I had a bit of bad luck in that round, a bit of bad luck in the last round, but that's not detracting from Derrick. He played incredibly well, took advantage of scoring windows, trashed my economy, which put me in a position where I really couldn't build up any kind of sense of steam, and I was too reliant on Darwin, which was too slow. So good fun, and well played. He goes on. I now take a double loss and go into the second round of Swiss. I hope you'll join us there.